keeps talking about this guy Joven. I don't even know who that is. But we're gonna go ahead and bring up our next Kami God Joven. Okay, there he is. Kami God. How many followers does he have? 63.1K. Okay, for sure. I think I left the wrong person. 1 second. Kami God. Let's get him up here. Kami God Joven. All right. Kami God Joven. All right.
What's up?
Hey man, what's going on? Everyone's telling me to bring you up, so yeah, this should be good. So yeah, we're supposed, specifically today, we're talking about how there's no good reason to vote for Kamala Harris, and we have to classify what a good reason is. But yeah, I'm not convinced that there's any good reason to vote for Kamala Harris. So, are you voting for her, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
Okay, and why?
Her administration, her class size administration saw better growth in pretty much every sector over Trump's administration.
Okay, gray line. You're back. Is there still an echo?
Let me to check. I don't hear it anymore. I did hear it before, but it sounds like it's gone.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that typically happens. Okay, so you said every single thing that Kamala Harris has done in her. Are you talking about in her as district attorney general?
I'm talking about her with Biden, right? Okay. Basically every sector we see, we're going to see better outcomes under her and Biden's presidency than we did under Trump's presidency.
So let's talk economy.
Sure.
So specifically, what has Joe Biden and Kamala Harris done to stimulate? When I say our economy, I'm specifically talking about these different indicators of economic growth. When I say indicators of economic growth, I'm going to be talking about private sector development, business corporations, the actual stock market. What are top corporations? What are their values being at? What are our trade agreements? How are we actually stimulating just the American economy as a whole? Not even talking GDP, because GDP can be affected from many different things. How are we stimulating the American economy? Grayline, thank you so much for the money gun. Grayline, thank you so much, brother. God bless your heart. Trump 2020. How are we specifically, stimulating the economy?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the stock market. The S&P 500 is record high currently. It's at, I think, 5,631, the highest it ever was under Trump. Pre-pandemic was 3,258. So if we're going to go stock market, Biden has Trump over the stock market easily. These are just Dow Jones numbers, right? We can talk about a lot of different things. We can talk about unemployment.
I want to stop you right there. I want to stop you right there. You said the S&P 500. So are you saying our private sector businesses are valued more? Or are you saying what are you saying? Why'd you bring up that specific?
Well, you talked about stocks,
but that's not indicative of stock market growth, though. That's what I'm
yes,
saying.
It is.
When we talk about stock market growth, we're not just looking at the top companies. We're looking at new business startups. We're looking at corporations coming in. We're not just going to be looking at top Forbes 500 companies. I'm talking about across the board, our stock market growth. Okay, U.S. corporations. Okay, and their dealings with people outside of the U.S. How specifically is our U.S. economy being benefited under Biden and Kamala Harris?
Because so I think you might have a misunderstanding of how we measure the stock market. So the S&P 500, along with the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, are the number one indicators of how our stock markets are doing.
Incorrect.
That's it. When we look at, no, that's not incorrect.
Incorrect.
You learn this in economics 101.
Sir, I've taken extremely high level economics classes, and
I don't think you have if you're making that claim, my friend.
I don't think you have, because you're fundamentally misinformed. You think that we measure the stock market by top businesses and corporations. That's not how we measure it.
By the S&P 500 is the guide of how well our stock market's doing. Nobody is going to look at any other measure when they're looking at if our stock market is doing well.
Sir, That is one indicator, but that is not the whole. You're using a part and you're trying to compare that to the whole.
Because you're bringing up something that has nothing to do with the stock market, which is which is new business creation. That has nothing to do with the stock market.
Sir, business creation has everything to do with the stock market, because when more businesses are created, these businesses now have stock value. And with that stock value, now you have more private investors being able to invest in these businesses. These businesses grow, which then stimulate the economy. We don't just simply look at the S&P 500 and the Fortune 500 for economic growth in terms of how the stock market is doing. We have to look at other resources, okay, like what is the ratio or percentage of small business startups, okay? What is the ratio of percentages of companies actually being able to produce and manufacture goods in the United States, which is allowing American stockholders to make more money. We can't just look at the S&P 500 and say, oh, our stock market is good, because that can be for many different reasons. The reason why businesses seem to have a high stock value right now is because, okay, of everything that's going on. Okay, what we see is Biden inherited a post-COVID, okay, economy. Trump had the burden of COVID, okay? When we look at the stock market,
the numbers I'm giving you aren't COVID numbers. I'm giving you pre-COVID numbers.
Oh, okay, so you're giving me pre-COVID numbers. Okay, and what is your stat to say that the S&P 500 is great? Because again, what is the time
specifically from the S&P, from the S&P, like that? It's their numbers.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is, what is the specific time frame that you're comparing these specific statistics?
Biden's numbers now to Trump's numbers pre-COVID.
Trump's numbers now. Okay, what time pre-COVID? What time?
It would be his entire presidency up until COVID happened.
Okay, sir, when you just say pre-COVID, COVID came in spurts, okay? There was the pre-COVID, and then
February 2020 is the end where we count post-COVID numbers. We count them pre-February 2020. Anything after February 2020 is COVID numbers.
Sir, I'm aware of that. That's not the question that I'm presenting to you. What I'm saying is, when you look at S&P 500 data, the first thing I presented to you a two-part argument here. The first argument that I'm making is that's not the only thing that is indicative of stock market growth, okay? Yes, it is a factor. Yes, we use it as a resource, but that is not the only way of how we analyze this. We look at ratio statistics as well to see what is the statistical ratios of small businesses being able to be started up, and are there investors that are interested in investing in these small businesses? When Trump was in office,
let's look at those numbers then.
Okay. Yes, sir. And when we analyze these numbers, okay, when we look at TrumpArchives.gov, which is a government website, and we look at the facts and the data, we see that Trump, okay, with his economy reform, Trump was able to stimulate our stock market where we had the most booming economy that we've ever had in America, as long as America.
Correct, and I can give you all the numbers if you want them. But we can look at job creation. We can look at job creation per the U.S. Census, which tracks applications for new businesses. At the height of Trump's presidency, again, this is pre-COVID numbers, he was creating, at the height, we had 300,000 applications for new jobs. That was the height. At Biden's height, 486,000 applications for new jobs. So if we want to talk about new businesses. If we want to talk about business creation, more under Biden than there are under Trump. Sir,
did you just say business applications?
That's how businesses start, is they apply for businesses.
Business application and business creation is two different things. Just because
to create a business, what do you have to do?
Sir, I never said to create a business you don't have to apply. But when we what I'm doing is I'm pointing out errors in your statistical analysis and your data. When we just simply look at business applications, that's not reflective of business creation. I'm talking about what are the amounts of actual businesses that got off the ground. Anyone can put in a business application, okay? But to start a business, that takes resources, that takes money. It typically takes loans, it takes stock investors, it takes stockholders, it takes many different things to actually get that business off the ground. So I'm not just concerned with application, I'm concerned with creation.
Yeah, so again, we can look at every number, every economic number, and we're going to see higher under Biden than we did under Trump. I can go through them right now if you want to. Inflation, or I'm sorry, wages is higher under Biden, right? People are earning more under Biden. We can look at total jobs added to the economy. Total jobs added to the economy is higher under Biden. And these are all nixing COVID numbers. We're not looking at COVID numbers. These are all pre and post COVID numbers. All of these metrics, Biden is doing better. Every single one.
Okay, but that's just fundamentally that's just fundamentally inaccurate. I don't really know where you're getting your sources from.
I'm getting my sources from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm getting my sources from I'm getting them from verified sources. You're getting all your claims from Trump's
verified
website.
Sources that say otherwise. Listen.
Trump's website isn't a verified source.
Listen, Kami. Listen, okay.
If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. I've got the numbers. We'll go through the numbers right now.
Sir, when Biden and Kamala Harris literally are so egregious with their tax policies,
they haven't implemented a tax policy.
They are taxing people on tips. Did you
We've
know
always taxed people on tips.
Sir, we've not always taxed people on tips.
Yes, we have.
It has not just been a common thing. We have not.
It is.
Okay, so do you think under Ronald Reagan we tax people on tips?
I don't know. Probably.
Okay, so let me educate you.
But like recent history, we've always taxed.
We have not always taxed people on tips. Do you understand how crippling that is for an individual at a restaurant or, some sort of, in the food industry or in the retail industry or even cab drivers when they get money to be taxed on their tips? That is a crippling thing to the middle class. That is so crippling. Okay. Trump wants to get rid of tax on tips. So when we talk about economy stimulation, we have to look at these little things which play a huge role in the middle class. Okay. Not just these big baseline stats that people like to, throw around, but how is the middle class actually being affected? Okay, the middle class, they are in the food industry, they are in retail, they are cab drivers, they are Ubers, they are doing all these things, okay, which they need to benefit from the tips that they are receiving, and they are not able to do that because of Biden and Harris's administration.
So what you're saying, Q-Top, is instead of looking at statistical data, you want to just look at anecdotal evidence.
Sir, this is not anecdotal evidence. I don't want to look at anecdotal evidence. I love stat. I literally.
Then let me give you the stats. Let's go through the stats.
Sir, all the stats that you've brought up, I've pointed out the errors. We can go through the stats. Matter of fact, let's go through all the stats. So let's talk about the economy.
Let's do it. Great.
Okay, let's go through all the stats because again, what I've done, I have no problem with you presenting correct stat that leads to the actual conclusion of your argument. But I'm showing you the statistics that you're bringing up are not actually indicative of the conclusion that you're presenting. You're bringing up valid stats.
You're saying that, but you haven't actually substantiated that, my friend. Okay, you are saying this, but there's been no substantiation.
Okay. So what stat have you said today that has proven for certain that this stat is directly linked to economic stimulation and growth?
Sure. Via the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay. Trump, pre-pandemic, added about 6.7 million jobs. Biden, post-pandemic, added 15.7 million jobs. So on job creation alone, now Biden would have done this through the infrastructure bill, through the CHIPS Act, and through the COVID rescue plan. Trump didn't really do anything to create jobs. He didn't pass any policy that did this, right? All he did was coast on pre-numbers.
Okay, that's actually very incorrect. Trump did everything to create new jobs. We can look at Trump's trade policies. Okay, in the sense that Trump. What do you mean, which one? There is no policy. It's Trump's trade policy.
No, you passed multiple policies when it comes to trade, and it's been widely regarded in like the economic world that his China tariffs, which is the biggest thing he did, were a negative.
Sir. When we talk about there's no. Okay, do you understand the distinction between a policy and reform? Do you understand the actual difference?
Reform only comes about via policy change.
Sir, that's incorrect. That is fundamentally incorrect. When we talk about reform, we're talking about the president's a person's ideology on a specific scenario or conclusion. When we talk about policy, we're talking about what is the actual thing, law, statute, mandate that was put into place to correct this specific, to promote the specific reform that this person has. Okay, so when you asking what specific policy, I can talk to you about the tariffs that Trump put on China. I can talk to you about how Trump actually made NATO pay their fair share. I can talk to you about Trump had drill baby, and we actually were able to produce our own oil in the United States, which led to economic growth. I can talk to you about how we had the lowest black unemployment rate and the lowest Hispanic unemployment rate. I can talk to you about how Trump actually brought manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. I can talk to you about all these things.
The thing is, Q-Top, the thing is, you can say all of these things, but without backing them up through actual policy, it's rings hollow.
When you say back up through actual policy, do you not know Trump's tariffs on China? Do you not know that? Like,
yes, the tariffs on China, the tariffs on China showed a GDP drop, a stock drop, a wage drop, and then a full-time worker drop. Like, we have all of these numbers.
Okay, sir, do you understand how we calculate GDP?
Yes, I understand how we calculate gross domestic product.
How do we? Okay, I didn't ask you what it was. I didn't ask you what it was because people use this word GDP and you don't understand how GDP is even calculated. How do we calculate GDP?
It depends on which approach you're using. You're using an expenditure approach, an income approach, or a value-added approach. There are three ways to calculate GDP, my friend. Do you want an expenditure approach, an income approach, or a value-added approach?
That is incorrect. When we talk about GDP, okay, we're specifically talking about a resource that has to do with our value-added protocol. Okay, that is the only.
So you're only talking about a value-added approach. That's one of three approaches.
That is the only way. That is the only way on a large scale that we calculate GDP. So when we talk about value-added, okay, this is going to be indicative of the reason why our GDP would drop is because Trump was not letting illegal immigrants into this country, and these illegal immigrants actually boost up our GDP. The reason why we have a decent GDP now is not because of Biden's policy, it's because of Biden's lack of policy.
So can I respond to this?
When we have illegal immigrants into this country, that value-added stuff that you were talking about,
we're just moving. We're just
that actually boosts our GDP.
We're just pivoting now. When we look at, hold on, let me respond. It seems like you're afraid to let me finish a full sentence.
Dude,
when it comes to GDP,
no one's afraid
I didn't say you were afraid of me. I said it seems like you're afraid to let me finish a sentence. That's a different thing.
No one's, dude, you're literally voting
you're doing
for
it right now.
Woman who's
you're not letting me talk right now.
Consistent with her policy, dude.
You're not letting me respond right now. You're doing the thing that you're saying you're not doing. So again, GDP, there are three ways to calculate GDP. You can use an expenditure approach, which is you look at consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net exports. You can do an income approach, which is the total national income plus the sales taxes plus depreciation plus the net foreign factor income. Or you can do the value-added approach, which is gross value of output minus the value of intermediate consumption. Those are the three ways to calculate GDP.
Minus the value of intermediate consumption. What is
then you're not calculating GDP the way that any economist calculates GDP. Just FYI.
What is intermediate consumption?
What is intermediate consumption? It's the consumption that people are. It's like how much people are consuming of any product.
How much people are consuming of any product. Yeah. So we don't actually calculate GDP by intermediate consumption. We don't calculate it by how much people are consuming. We calculate it by the lack of consumption. Okay. Because here's the problem. Okay. When we look at GDP with the value added approach, and you bringing up all these specific things, when I look at GDP, I don't think GDP is a sufficient way of actually determining economic growth. Stimulation.
It's not about economic growth. It's about whether the tariffs were a good thing. Because the thing is, when you tariff goods that are imported from China, this is going to affect companies that use imported goods for their products.
Okay, sir. This is you're going to be fundamentally incorrect here. When we talk about tariffs, okay, I'm specifically talking about how these tariffs brought jobs back to the U.S., which stimulated our economy. Okay,
They
so when you
didn't.
say it doesn't boost our economy, it does. This is a reason why we had the lowest Black and the lowest Hispanic unemployment rates. There's a
No,
reason
we
why.
had them under. No, we had them under Biden.
We did
Again,
not have under Biden.
Yes. Do you want me to show you the evidence?
I can show you the source
I will
right
show
here.
you the evidence, my friend.
I can show you the
What is your
source.
wait? What is your source? What is your source?
My source is archives.gov. Archives.gov. Trump White House archives.gov, which has.
Yeah, so you're going to be looking at the source. It's an archive. It's an archive of the numbers when it was under Trump. You're not looking at the archive of the numbers currently. You're looking at the archive of the numbers when it was under Trump. The lowest under Trump, the lowest Black unemployment got to, right? The lowest that employment, right? So workforce growth under Trump when it comes to African American jobs, 59% was the max. Under Biden, the max was 60%. So if you want to get technical, Biden saw higher job growth in the Black community than Trump did.
Incorrect. So listen, So when we talk about, first of all, let's talk about my source, because my source is actually very, very valid. My source was not supposed to be talking about now. My source is talking about when Trump was in the White House. Okay, Trump literally has here in this is a valid source. The Hispanic unemployment rate fell by 9.6%. The Asian American unemployment rates fell by 8.6%, and the Black American unemployment rate fell by 6.8%. And why that's crucial is because of the economy that Trump. And why that's crucial is because of the economy that Trump was actually handled. Now you're saying under Biden, these percentages. Are you saying that these percentages have increased, or are you saying that
they fell lower under? Do you want me to show? I'll show my screen. I'll literally show the numbers.
Listen. But what you understand is I'm agreeing with you. I've seen those stats. They have fallen lower, but we have to look at who is the cause of these things actually falling lower. Biden is not the cause of those things falling lower. When we talk about it falling lower, there's actually two things here, okay? When you say it fell lower, we're looking at the percentages, okay? Percentage is not necessarily indicative of the whole relation, okay? So you're talking about these things have fallen. Listen, you're talking about these percentages have fallen lower. I'm sitting here telling you that the economy that Trump got, okay, and what Trump was able to do for the African American community was actually benefited us way better than Biden, because number one, Biden's not the cause of that growth, and number two,
I named you specific policies Biden put into place that caused the job growth. I named you the specific policies.
Sir. And what's your policy? I
named you multiple. The CHIPS Act has shown job growth. The COVID Rescue Plan has shown jobs growth, and the infrastructure bill has shown jobs growth.
The CHIPS Act. So how did the CHIPS Act specifically not just boost certain people's pockets? How did the CHIPS Act actually boost our overall economy?
Do you know what the CHIPS Act did?
I know exactly what I know exactly.
So then why are you asking this question? We're currently in the middle of building multiple factories. How do you think that doesn't create jobs? We have to hire people to build all of these factories. That is quite literally job creation.
The CHIPS Act wasn't just specifically for the infrastructure of factories. The CHIPS Act gave money to technological companies and innovation so they can actually increase their actual technological advancements. The CHIPS Act wasn't a
I didn't say it was just to do that. I said that's a benefit of the CHIPS Act is the infrastructure building. Yes, that's a byproduct of the act, which is going to create jobs.
Brother. Trump did not need an act to do that. Okay, Trump did that naturally
because he didn't do it.
Trump did that naturally with his economic policy. Okay.
Again, what policy? You can't name a policy. You have to name one.
What is the Jobs Act?
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is our current tax plan. It's what we're currently under. It lowered taxes for a litany of large corporations and then wealthy people while screwing taxes for the middle class.
Okay, perfect. And who instituted the Jobs Act?
Trump did.
Okay, so yeah, so when I said
it didn't translate to more jobs.
First of all, don't sit up here and say I can't name policies, because I can name policies. I already gave you the distinction. I'm a political philosopher, sir. I already gave you. You're fundamentally,
yes, I'm a political analyst. I do this for a living.
I do this for a living. I already gave you the distinction between policies, mandates, and initiatives. Those three things are specifically different. When I talk about when you say policy, name a policy. When I say economic policy, this is going to be indicative of what is the economic protocol or the byproduct or conclusion of what Trump has done for our economy.
And then let's look at that. Okay. We can look at that. We can literally see the byproduct, and it's that Biden has created twice the amount of jobs that Trump did. Twice. Literally doubled his job growth.
How did he do that? How did he do that?
I gave you the policies that did that. I gave you all of the policies that did that.
Sir. And the policy that you presented to you, I'm telling you why those policies did not directly result in that conclusion. Yes,
I gave you 3 policies, not just one.
Sir, you said I couldn't name a policy, and I gave you a policy, the Jobs Act, which actually, do you know what trickle-down economics is?
Yes, trickle-down economics by every major economist in the world. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. It didn't work when Reagan instituted it. It didn't work when Trump instituted it.
Major economists
do it right now.
Trickle-down economics.
Do it.
You know nothing about trickle-down.
Do it right now. Give me the economist. Do it.
Hey, you listen to me, sir.
Give me the economist.
You know nothing. I'll give. Okay, bet. I'll give you the economist right now. Bet.
Go ahead.
I'll give the resources. All right. Let's see here. So we have. Okay, if we go to UPenn, the University of Penn State here, we have many different economists, Benjamin Lockwood, Joe Gomes, Kent Smetters, Robert Inman, and they all support trickle-down economics, and they give many reasons why.
Let me give you some people that don't. So Joseph Stiglitz, who's a Nobel Prize-winning economist, disagrees with it. Paul Krugman, who's a Nobel Prize-winning economist, disagrees with trickle-down economics. We can look at Robert Reich, who's the former U.S. Secretary of Labor and professor of public policy at the University of California in Berkeley, disagrees with it. We can look at Emmanuel Saz, who is a professor of economics at the University of California, again, disagrees with it. We can look at James Galbraith, who's a professor at the University of Texas at Austin, also disagrees with it. Dan Baker, who's the co-director of the Center for Economic and Policy Research, also disagrees with it. Like all of the way more highly favored economists disagrees with trickle down because we know it doesn't work. We can see this in what happened with Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It's very easy stuff to look at. All of this information is available for you.
Brother. We can both cite economists, okay? I can cite Nobel-winning economists. All these economists are Penn State, Harvard, Stanford. I mean, I can cite many different economists that support trickle-down economics. So listen, brother, you can't just say, well, because again, your statement was every single economist doesn't support trickle-down economics.
No, my statement was the mass amount of them do. My statement wasn't every single one.
Maybe because they're Democrat, okay? Maybe because they're literally in the middle class.
You think that economists from other countries are Democrats? How are economists from other countries? How is a French economist a Democrat?
So you're talking, brother, I'm giving you American economists. I don't care.
You don't need American trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics isn't only an American thing. Why would you only need American? You think only American economists can judge the economy?
Brother, we're talking about the American economy.
Other economists can judge the American economy. Other economists can judge the American economy. You don't need to be from America to understand America's economy.
Dude, this guy's really laughable. Bro, you literally give me economists who are not in American. Can you give me American economists?
I did also give you American economists. I gave you James Galbraith, who's at the University of Texas. I gave you Robert Reich, who was the U.S. Secretary of Labor, and he was a professor of public policy at the University of Berkeley. I gave you multiple Americans, but you don't need to be American to understand the American economy. That's just nonsense. That's a nonsense statement.
I never said you needed to be American, so now you're putting words in my mouth. I never said you need to be American to understand the American economy. What I'm saying is when we're specifically talking about economists, okay, especially those who are making judgments about trickle-down economics, which is specifically, which was, an economic system which had amazing benefits, and we can see it under presidents like Ronald Reagan. Have you researched anything about?
Oh my God. Yes, Ronald Reagan has been laughed at for his economy. What are you talking about?
Sir, Ronald Reagan was laughed at by people who are misinformed and understand nothing about how our economy actually works. Ronald Reagan had some of the best policies. When Ronald Reagan trickled down economics, literally, okay. The people who oppose trickle down economics are individuals with their own predisposed narratives. Trickle down economics from purely a logistical and statistical basis has been proven to work. What we've seen is the middle class gets paid by the business owners. And so in order for the middle class to be thriving, the business owners have to be thriving. Would you agree?
No.
Okay. So who does the middle class get paid by?
Corporations.
Okay, and who are at the top of these corporations? Are they people who are in the upper class or the middle class?
The owners of corporations are typically in the upper class, but you don't need to give tax cuts to the owners for the businesses to pay their people.
Owners, brother, it wasn't just, it was to the corporations.
That's what we saw, but this is what's crazy because you don't have the actual data. I do have the data. No, you don't. You have Trump saying we have the data. You're looking at the White House website from when Trump was in charge. You're not looking at Bureau of Labor statistics. You're not looking at any of these other statistics that would actually tell you how the middle class was doing. You're just saying, well, Trump said we did well, so we did well.
Brother, that is not just simply what I'm looking at. I'm looking at TrumpWhiteHouseArchives.gov, which is a governmental website, which had but that I said I am looking at that, but I'm not just looking at that. I'm looking at FBI stats. I'm looking at the labor of Bureau of, I'm looking at those stats. I'm looking at other stats as well, rather than just simply looking at the Trump White House archives.
So then, great. Let's look at the Bureau of Labor statistics right now, and you'll see that unemployment is lower. Unemployment we were doing better, or the unemployment rate is better under Biden than it was under Trump. Let's look at the Bureau of Labor statistics right now. Let's look at them.
Sir, when you say better, okay, you are looking at percentages. Is that correct?
That's how you look. That's how you calculate. Unemployment is via a percentage.
Okay. And so
it's the percentage of people that are unemployed.
Sir, can you listen? Okay. When we look at percentages, if you know anything about political philosophy and how we actually analyze data, you understand that percentages have their pros and cons. Because when you just simply say, okay, here are the percentages, we have to look at, okay, what is the actual ratio of these percentages and what actually led to these percentages being applied, okay? The first thing I'm going to give you here today is that just because it seems as if we have a lower unemployment rate, which I would agree, okay, the statistics do say unemployment rate is lower, but that's unemployment rate across the board. That's not specifically looking into minority unemployment rates.
Black unemployment rate is lower.
Black and Asian communities. Okay?
We can analyze about that. The Bureau of Labor Statistics calculates all of that. Black unemployment is also lower across the board under Biden than it was under Trump.
Okay.
Every minority group's unemployment is, like I said, let's look at the numbers. I have them right in front of me. Let's go analyze them. You keep moving the goalposts.
Sir, I'm not moving you don't understand what is going on here. I'm going to say it again. I am challenging your ability to give to equivocate certain statistics to define conclusions. I'm gonna say it again just so we get. I am challenging your ability to propose certain statistics that then support a defined conclusion that you're making. You're saying, okay, because this thing is saying that the unemployment rate is lower, that means somehow Biden is responsible for that unemployment rate being lower. What I'm simply saying is that is fundamentally incorrect.
Okay, so then when you say that Trump is responsible, I'm going to say the same thing. You say, well, Trump, it's low under Trump. So no, I'm going to say the same thing. It doesn't mean Trump is responsible, especially when you haven't been able to give me anything except the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that created jobs. I gave you specifically three policies that created jobs.
We are under. I gave you the Jobs Act because this is something that we are currently under. Okay, this is a economic plan that we are currently under that we are still seeing the benefits from. So you keep telling me, hey, here are the unemployment rates of Joe Biden. I'm agreeing with you there. I've never contested the actual statistical data that you have brought forth. I never contested that. Just like I brought forth data that hopefully you can accept, okay? We both brought forth data, and I'm good with bringing forth data, brother. Listen, I respect that. I respect you being informed and getting the data. What I'm simply saying here is, the conclusion that you are initiating from that data is fundamentally incorrect. By the way, guys, the Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo isn't about. I haven't been checking Cash App in a while. Wow. Thank you so much, Jay Morris, for the $15 over Cash App. Also, Keely, thank you so much, Keely, for the $5 over Cash. Thank you guys so much, man. The Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo is in the bio, guys. Thank you guys so much, man. I haven't even been checking Cash App here. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Thank you. So yeah, that's all I'm simply saying. So you're equivocating Biden to our unemployment rates, and I'm saying that's false. That's jargon.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing about what you say with Trump, right? Again, when we look at the creation of jobs under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which we can do because he passed that act before COVID, so we can see exactly how many jobs that was bringing in. Biden has way more jobs post-COVID because of the specific job creations he did, which again were the infrastructure bill created jobs, the CHIPS Act created jobs, and the COVID rescue plan created jobs. These are jobs that didn't exist before that now exist because of these three bills. I can pinpoint you directly. You just keep saying, well, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act created jobs, except we don't see that when we look at, I'll give you, it created some. But why am I going to vote for the guy that created less? Why wouldn't I vote for the guy, not that he's running, why wouldn't I vote for the administration that created more jobs? Why wouldn't I vote for them?
Okay. So when we talk about the creation of more jobs, okay, you again are specifically giving this to, Joe Biden's, policy. And what I'm simply saying is that's inaccurate. And the reason why I'm saying that's inaccurate is because you said, okay, pre-Jobs Act, we can look at these things, and then post-Jobs Act. Well, when the Jobs Act actually got instituted, then it's like, boom, we're getting hit with COVID. We're getting hit with these other things. So the Jobs Act.
What? The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act started in 2017. We had multiple years of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act before COVID. What are you talking about?
It takes, if you understand anything about economic policies, especially like the Jobs Act, it takes at least 5 to 7 years to see these policies, to actually see the results. You cannot just, yes, it does.
Prove that.
Okay, can you give me any economic, okay, listen, no, because you're saying otherwise. Can you give me any economic plan that was instituted to where we can see the plethora of results with less than 5?
Yes, the COVID rescue plan specifically. We saw the results from that almost immediately.
That's not a major economic plan.
Yes, it is. It was yes, it was. What?
Are you talking about Joe Biden? Oh, wait. Are you talking about Joe Biden's post-COVID plan?
No, his COVID rescue plan, which was implemented during COVID.
So you're going to compare Joe Biden's rescue plan to Operation Warp Speed?
You asked it. I'm not comparing it to Operation Warp Speed. What are you talking about? You asked for an economic policy. The American Rescue Plan was an economic policy that was instituted, and then we saw the effects almost immediately.
The only reason why Joe Biden was even able to enact that is because of Operation Warp Speed. You understand that, correct?
No, it wasn't.
Sir, if we did not clean up our COVID crap like Trump did, Joe Biden would have been, Joe Biden would not have been able to even have the economy, the economic stimulation to even be able to propose that sort of legislation, which took a lot of money and resources to enact. Okay,
you're just making stuff up.
I'm not making anything up, actually. If you understand anything about Operation, okay, give me 5 things about Operation Warp Speed.
I'm not claiming Operation Warp Speed did anything, so why would I do your homework for you? You do it. You're claiming Operation Warp Speed did something. You're claiming it did something, so show the proof. You're the one making the positive claim here.
Absolutely, you know nothing about Operation Warp Speed.
Whether I know it or not doesn't matter. You're making the claim. I'm not going to do your homework.
You guys give. Thank you so much, Eli. You give Trump no credit for what he did, and then what you do is piggyback. What you do is you piggyback off of what Trump did, and then you credit it to Biden.
Did I say I don't give Trump credit for Operation Warp Speed? Did I ever say that?
Sir, you literally said Operation Warp Speed did nothing. That's what you literally just said.
No, I said Operation Warp Speed isn't what caused the American Rescue Plan to be successful. Literally is not.
Sir, that's not even what I said. I said Operation Warp Speed made that rescue mission possible because we would not even have the economic resources to propose such legislation if Operation Warp Speed did not have the sufficiency and productivity that it did. Okay, let me educate you about Operation Warp Speed. First of all, sir, let me educate you about Operation Warp Speed. Okay, Operation Warp Speed was literally one of the best things that Trump actually did while he was in office, and Trump did a lot of amazing things. But what he was able to do post COVID, I mean, it was just amazing. Operation Warp Speed, first things first, we have stimulus checks, okay? We literally have checks being put on to the American people to allow them to overcome this crisis, okay? People who are literally losing jobs, people who are misplaced, out of their work, people who, don't have the financial resources to continue their daily life. Trump did, creating all of the masks, creating all the respirators, creating all these things for these hospitals to be able to have these patients put forth, being able to actually, have all the things put into place to get these vaccines out, to get the vaccines to the public, to make a vaccine, the research of the vaccine, the money allocated to be able to do this, to close our borders so that so that it would not spread, right? To actually just not shut down our whole economy like Biden and all these Democrats want to do. They kept saying, shut down the economy, shut down the economy, shut down the economy. Trump did not shut down our economy, okay? So Operation Warp Speed, I can go on and on about Operation Warp Speed and everything that it actually did.
Sure. Operation Warp Speed had nothing to do with the stimulus checks.
Sir,
Show me in the bill. Show me in the bill. Show me in the bill where it talks about stimulus. Go ahead.
Sir, Operation Warp Speed allowed us to be able to have the economy to produce. Sorry, so I don't. Okay, guys, this is like a fundamental. I think this is like where me and Comey are like really disagreeing, and I'm just specifically speaking to the chat because we're both coming. He's bringing me stats. I'm bringing him stats and data. What's happening is he doesn't actually understand why these stats are the way that they are. So I'm not specifically focused on, hey, here's a stat, there's a stat. I'm focusing on how was this thing even able to be a stat? And it's able to be a stat because of prior things that had to happen. And then from those things, other prior things had to happen. And that's what political philosophy is. We don't just analyze the stats, we analyze the mechanism behind how the stat is created. And every time I ask you to give me the mechanism, every time I ask you to give me how did Biden specifically contribute to this thing, you can't do it.
I did. I literally did. I literally named you the policies that created the jobs, and I can go into detail and name the specific jobs that they created if you wanted to. I gave you the policies. So to sit here and go, well, you're not giving me the reason this happened is just factually inaccurate to the conversation. Like, I don't know if that's just like your thing, but like I've given you it multiple times.
Dude, you have not given me any reason to believe or any indicative evidence of why these specific stats are linked to Joe Biden. I'm giving you reasons why to believe these stats are linked to Donald Trump, not Joe Biden. Donald Trump gave Joe Biden an amazing post-COVID economy, and Joe Biden has done nothing but destroy that post-COVID economy.
Trump didn't give a post-COVID economy. Trump didn't do that because there was no post-COVID under Trump. And even if you want to go back and say, well, Trump's policies were able to create post-COVID numbers, that's also not true because we see the exact job growth from which jobs were created under Biden, under his specific policies. You've given nothing, and you're out here like you're giving this mountain of facts. You're not giving anything. Show some proof.
Call me. I believe that you've given nothing because for the third and final time, and I think this is where we're just gonna have. Because I think we're just kind of going around in a big circle here. I think this was somewhat productive.
Hold on, stop. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't sit here and say all you're doing is being intellectually dishonest right now.
But I think you're being intellectually dishonest because you have not given me any mechanism, resource, or protocol that is indicative of these specific statistics being linked to Joe Biden. You keep saying that you have, but every time that you do, I debunk your answer.
You haven't.
I've showed you how Trump's Jobs Act, how Trump's tax plan, how Trump's economics plan, how Trump's tariffs have all done things to benefit our economy. You keep saying there's no link, and I'm showing you that there is a link. The link is when Trump proposed these specific ideologies, there's a direct correlation that we can deduce from these policies being used to boost our economy. We can look at things like, hey, what did Trump putting tariffs on China actually do? Not just random GDP analysis, which GDP takes into account many different factors that's not just contributing to trade, but how is this thing actually boosting our economy? How are the middle class actually doing under Trump's presidency with these tariffs? What is our manufacturing looking like? Trump brought back manufacturing. Drill, baby, drill, baby. We actually were able to drill and bring back jobs. We actually were able to become energy sufficient. Trump disposes the Green New Deal, which is what Biden thinks, which is a climate change, which climate change is a myth. Okay, climate change is a total myth.
Yeah, so we're not talking about climate change. If you want to move on to a different topic, that's wild. Again, when we look at the actual... No, we're not going in circles because you haven't answered any of my questions. I've answered every question you laid out.
Okay, every single one. Question again. Okay, no problem. Just to demonstrate to you that you're not answering my question, I'll ask you one more time, and the floor is yours. Give me the direct correlation between the Labor Bureau statistic of unemployment rate and what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has done, specifically giving me a linear progression that shows how Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's specific policy protocol specifically led to unemployment rates. Because I can give you a plethora of reasons of why the unemployment rate is the way that it is, and it has nothing to do with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris' specific policy. So that's what I want you to do.
Great. Let's do it.
Give me the linear progression and give me the correlation. That's what I'm asking.
Yep. So under the infrastructure bill, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris provided money to increase the amount of jobs in heavy and civil engineering construction. The employment rate then rose for heavy and civil engineering construction between 2022 and 2023, the time period of the bill. Next, let's look at unemployment. Let's look at unemployment of highway, street, and bridge. I'm not done. You said you'd give me my time, right? Now you want to interrupt? Is it because I provided statistics? Next, highway, street, and bridge construction. The bill also laid out money to fix bridges, to build new bridges, and to fix and build new highways. Since the bill, we've seen an increase in those jobs because the bill laid out money to hire more people. Building construction, same thing. Non-residential building construction employment, same thing. These are infrastructure jobs that didn't exist. Then when Biden and Harris gave money to build these new infrastructure, those jobs were created.
Okay. So, brother, now I'm going to systematically just debunk everything you just said, and then I'm going to have to move on to the next guest. And by the way, everyone's saying W guest. You guys are actually part of the problem because it's people who are misinformed about actually how politics actually work. Is you guys are uninformed about what is the mechanism behind what causes a specific policy or what causes a specific change in stat, and you guys just jump to conclusions. So let me just go ahead and systematically debunk everything you just said. With the infrastructure bill, okay? The infrastructure bill does not give a direct correlation to unemployment. Why? Why would you say that, Q-Top? Because yes, the infrastructure bill did give some people some jobs. When we're looking at unemployment rate, we're looking at what is the ratio, what is the actual amount of people in the United States, and from those amount of people, what is the ratio per demographic of people that are actually unemployed, and what is the linear trend or progression of trend when it comes to, okay, from this amount of time, this amount of people are unemployed. Is the unemployment rate, okay, is the unemployment rate increasing or decreasing? And how is it increasing or decreasing? Is it increasing or decreasing by population ratio statistics? Is it increasing or decreasing by just specific labor, just joint union and labor stat? How is it actually increasing? Yes, the infrastructure bill did bring some people some new jobs, but the people that it brought new jobs, sir, are literally individuals who we don't even know they might be illegal immigrants, okay? Because if we can't even secure our border, we have people coming in that are most likely stealing those jobs. So the problem is you guys want to equate, okay, yeah, these jobs went up with the infrastructure bill. Yes, most likely. But the same jobs that are going up are the same jobs that are being stolen when we have individuals coming into our country. That's the first thing. The second thing is,
how would the federal numbers have undocumented immigrants in them?
What?
How would the federal numbers for these jobs have undocumented immigrants? That's the whole thing about being undocumented. I never
said the federal numbers have undocumented.
Well, you said that the jobs that were created were probably taken by immigrants. These numbers come from the federal government. Undocumented immigrants don't register with the federal government. We don't know what jobs they're taking.
I never said. Thank you so much, A. Drizzy, for the galaxy, man. God bless you. Magus, man. Can we get some guys? I am a political philosopher, and it takes a lot to educate some of these individuals who just cite statistics, but they don't actually know how those statistics are actually calculated, analyzed, and actually tracked. Call me, listen. Because you misarticulated what I said. I said illegal immigrants are taking these jobs, okay? When they, sir, we have hundreds of thousands of individuals coming into this country. These individuals who come to this country have to work. Where do they usually work? They typically work in agriculture and manufacturing. Okay, they're typically doing manufacturing jobs, or they're working in landscaping and agriculture. Okay, when we see these individuals who do this, these individuals, when you talk about the infrastructure bill, the reason why they had to pass an infrastructure bill is to actually get these illegal immigrants into better places, okay? Because these illegal immigrants are coming to the country, they're bringing crime, they're bringing poison, they're graping our people, they're bringing all these specific things that's actually
all you've done is pivoted the conversation.
Adrian, thank you so much for the hate mustache.
That's all you've done.
I'm not pivoting at all. You said
your plan was to debunk. No, your plan was to debunk me on my numbers, and instead now you're obfuscating to, well, but what if they were taken by immigrants? I don't care about what if. Prove to me that the numbers I gave were false. Not with what ifs. Not with, well, they might be coming over and doing this. Either prove it, or stop trying to act like you're this insanely intelligent political person when you're not.
Sir. I'm not trying to act like anything. I know what I am because I've actually done the research and I've debunked every single thing that you've said. You are literally saying the infrastructure bill has to do with why our unemployment rates are the way that they are. And your reason for saying that, is because you said it brought back jobs and infrastructure.
Not brought back. It created.
Thank you, Boo.
It created jobs that didn't previously exist.
Sir. It created jobs, is your claim correct? I would actually agree with you. But I don't agree that our drop in unemployment rate is just the cause of some jobs being created from the infrastructure bill. You have not shown that. And what I've shown you is when we analyze the statistics and we look at how many people are pouring into this country, these people are not being tracked and they're taking those jobs, okay?
If they're not being tracked, how do we know they're working those jobs?
Sir, you can look at the statistics. Bro, sir,
so now statistics matter.
Sir, when you say...
So I need to look at the statistics.
When you say... Sir, listen. Let me say this again, because then I'm going to I'm just going to, have to kick you. Sorry, brother. This has been a great conversation, and I have no problem with letting you stay, but the one thing you're not going to do is gaslight me. I've said many different times, I love statistics. I am a statistic, facts, and that type of guy. That's why I study the statistics. But you have to understand how those statistics are produced, how those statistics are analyzed, and what is the cause and mechanism behind those statistics. What you're simply saying to me today is the infrastructure bill, okay?
I've named you multiple bills.
Sir, we're specifically talking about the infrastructure. We're going to move on to the other bills. The infrastructure bill, you're saying boosted up our economy, okay? And you're saying it did it by unemployment rate. Okay, creating new jobs. What I'm saying is, yes, it created new jobs, but how can you specifically relate that to our unemployment rate as it is now? Our unemployment rate, which is continuing to go down. How are you relating that to the unemployment rate? A statistic, linear progression analysis, which shows our unemployment rate continuing to go down just based upon an infrastructure bill, which we can't even be for certain Americans are even getting those jobs.
Let me answer that very comprehensively. So first and foremost, I don't care about speculation. So when you go, well, we can't even be sure Americans are having those jobs. That's just speculatory. It has nothing in the argument. It has no founding. It has nothing. When we look at undocumented workers, they only make up 4.4% of the entire U.S. workforce. Okay, so undocumented workers aren't taking this mass amount of jobs that everybody claims they are taking. Second, when we look at the infrastructure bill, I brought you up the specific sectors and the specific jobs that were created under the infrastructure bill and the growth of those jobs from 2022 to 2021 when the bill went into effect to 2023 when the last numbers we have for the job. I gave you the specific. It's heavy and civil engineering construction jobs. It is highway, street, and bridge construction jobs. It is private home and business home construction jobs. I've given you all of this. This isn't to say that these are the entire reason that the unemployment rate is low. It's that when you add this in, then you add in all the jobs the CHIPS Act created. Then you add in all the jobs that the COVID rescue plan created. Then you add in all the other private sector jobs that were created. When you add all of these things together, you're going to see that the unemployment rate stops dropping because of the amounts of jobs that are now being created. These are new jobs that didn't exist under Trump's presidency. These aren't just COVID buyback jobs, right? They're not just the jobs that were regained after COVID. These are brand new jobs that didn't exist. So yes, when I see the unemployment dropping and I see a plethora of new jobs that didn't exist show up and those jobs get filled, yes, you can very easily say new jobs being created and filled lead to lower unemployment rates.
Okay, so a couple of different things. You brought up the infrastructure bill, you brought up the CHIPS Act, and then you brought up, Biden's post-COVID plan. So again, I want to systematically attack those three things and show you, number one, why those three things weren't even the best policies to enact and why Trump's policies were actually better while he was in office. And number two, to show you the linear progression of how you can't just believe that just because these policies are passed, we have just the lowering of unemployment rate opposed from the Jobs Act. When we look at the Jobs Act that President Donald Trump has instituted, this Jobs Act, again, takes about 5 to 7 years to see the results from. The Jobs Act is one of the reasons why we are seeing a significant decrease in African-American, Hispanic-American, and Asian-American unemployment rates, and specifically American unemployment rates as it is being proposed, okay? That's what we actually see, okay? Now you're talking about the infrastructure bill. Okay, I have already given you the infrastructure bill has proposed specific legislation in which, yes, people are, being able to get new jobs. I'm agreeing with you there. When we talk about the amount of jobs being created under which administration, the CHIPS Act, the CHIPS Act, the infrastructure bill, and Biden's post-COVID plan has not even come close to the systemic and linear progression of job creation that we see under Trump's administration when it comes to the Jobs Act, when it comes to his economic plan, when it comes to his trade deal, when it comes to his energy sufficient policies, which created manufacturing jobs in the United States. Okay, this does not even compare. It is in no comparison. So what you're doing is you're allocating the unemployment, you're allocating the specific unemployment rates that you're saying that those three policies did, and you're not taking into account the Jobs Act and the post-COVID and pre-COVID policies that Trump instituted, okay, like the Jobs Act, like his economic policies, like his tariffs on China, like NATO, and all those tariffs would actually brought back money to the United States, was able, like his tax breaks to the upper class, which like trickle-down economics, which actually benefits the middle class, okay? We can look at all these different policies, and we can, like even the Paris Agreement, which Trump got out of because it was so disgusting, which actually brought back jobs, because now we actually can actually manufacture more things in the United States. All these things brought back jobs, brother. So you can't even compare those things.
Yeah, so a few things that you said that were just like factually wrong. So first of all, there were no post-COVID tariffs under Trump because Biden was in charge post-COVID. So all the tariffs
said there was
that are, yes, you did.
Tariffs.
Yes, you did.
I never said. I said Trump instituted COVID, pre-COVID tariffs. Of course, there was no post-COVID tariffs. Okay, if I misspoke. If I did, I misspoke. I'm talking about the specific tariffs. I said Trump's post-COVID plan. Maybe if I said post-COVID tariffs, forgive me, brother.
Trump didn't have a post-COVID plan because he wasn't in charge post-COVID.
He did have a post-COVID plan. Okay,
he wasn't in charge post-COVID.
When do you think COVID ended?
When we officially ended the pandemic, it was like 2022.
Sir, incorrect. Okay, when Trump was before Trump got out of the White House, you realize all those numbers were inflated. Do you realize we have actual evidence to believe all these numbers were inflated? People are not wearing masks. Okay, when I say post-COVID, I'm talking about when people stopped wearing masks. When all those mask mandates, when people stopped wearing masks. Okay, when Trump was in office, we did not shut down the economy. Trump was post-COVID. Trump stopped COVID. See, that's what the fake news wants to tell you guys. See, look. The fake news has totally got.
When did Trump leave office, Q-Top? When did Trump leave office?
Brother.
When did he leave office?
Brother, you are factually incorrect.
When did he leave office?
Brother.
Just answer the question.
Brother. Are you sitting here deflecting from my question that I asked you?
You didn't ask me a question.
Brother, I did ask you a question.
What was the question?
I asked you a very comprehensive question, okay? Before you asked me when Trump left the White House, okay, which Trump actually left the White House in 2020, okay? That's when Trump left the White House, sir, okay? That's when Trump left the White House, okay, sir? So, sir, before...
January 21, but okay.
Sir, Trump left the White House the end of 2020. You want to say January 2021? You can try to just don't ask me stupid questions like I don't actually do this for a living. I don't actually understand what I'm talking about because I've done nothing. I've done, and listen, because now I'm getting real serious here. I've done nothing but systematically refute everything that you've said, showing how the stats that you have presented. Anybody who understands real politics here would understand that you've done nothing but just cite stats that you don't even know where those stats, you don't even know the mechanism behind how those stats were even calculated and the mechanism behind why you are equivocating this stat to a specific conclusion that cannot be justified. And I've shown that many times, but you don't see it. You don't see it
though. And I've very clearly laid out the mechanisms for which the stats I'm quoting, how they are calculated, what they're calculated by. I've done all of this. All you're doing is performing. Every time you play the laugh track, all you're doing is performing.
Bye. Yeah, bye. So this is a very emotional argument that they try to make, right? Where they say, all you're doing is performing. You're just a performer. Brother, that's how I know you lost the debate. When you have to, I have not thrown any ad homs to you. I have thrown no, I have not. Listen, guys, this is what they always do. I have thrown no ad hominems. I did not say a single ad hom to this guy. I did not say one ad hom.
Telling you you're performing is not an ad hom.
I did not say one ad hom. This entire debate, I did not call him stupid. I did not call him anything, bro. But you want to attack my character saying I'm putting on a show because I'm literally systematically destroying every single thing that you said, okay? Trump's economic policy, immigration reform, criminal justice reform, healthcare policies, okay? His stance on abortion have all done tremendous things for the American people and for the American economy. Okay, so I've systematically debunked every single statistic that this man has brought. And for all you guys saying W guess, it's really sad because you guys are literally just simply misinformed. You guys think this individual is capable of running our president when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has done absolutely nothing for our country. Literally, they've done absolutely nothing for our country, guys. Nothing for our country. By the way, let me see all those MAGA spams in the comment section. Let me see all those MAGA spams. Everybody who studies political philosophy would understand.
Oh, Blitz is going to destroy him.
Eli, I wasn't even going to bring up Dr. Blitz on my platform because this guy is extremely disingenuous, Eli. So no problem, brother. I know it's not actually your fault, but I wasn't actually going to bring up this guy on my platform because this guy is extremely disingenuous and dishonest. I've had many conversations with this guy, and he's nothing but disingenuous and dishonest. So that's why I wasn't going to bring Blitz up. Blitz, I'll give you a run here, brother.
Kind of just poisoned the well there.
Listen, yeah, Blitz, listen, man. Hello, man. Look, hello, brother. You know, God bless you. I will give you a run here. I will give you a run on my platform. Okay, brother? I will give you a run. But please keep this honest, and please do not be manipulative like you typically are. Okay, that's all I'm asking. By the way, guys, let's continue to tap that screen. My Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo is in a bio, guys. Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo is in a bio. Thank you guys so much. So, Dr. Blitz, man, welcome, man. Good to have you.
I only have one question.
Okay.
Do you still think the Earth is flat?
Yes.
Oh my God. Bro out here defending facts and statistics and thinks the Earth is flat.
So Dr. Blitz, thank you for coming up. So guys,
No
so
way.
this is what Dr. Blitz wants to do, right? Dr. Blitz